Hello people, Kev-In-Thailand here. Today I'm going to be addressing some what I believe to be very important issues about working as a vlogging or a digital nomad in Thailand. The law, the legalities, whether you need work permits or not. In the last 8 months or so, there's been a few vloggers that have been ranting on YouTube about the law, about the legalities of vlogging or being a digital nomad in Thailand.
And I'm still a firm believer in trying to be honest with you guys about what's legal and what's not legal here in Thailand. And when I say trying, sometimes it's hard to figure out what really is legal and what's illegal in Thailand. But I do know that working here without a work permit that is specifically detailed your occupation, your job, if you don't have a work permit and you're making money in Thailand, it's illegal, okay? If you're a vlogger and you're monetizing, it's illegal. If you're a digital nomad and you're making money, it's illegal.
As just another vlogger, I can't come back and say no, it ain't, it's legal. It's them against me, and I know what I am, so they obviously don't know what they are. But what I have had now to address it, on the 14th of March this month, there was an interview on a channel called Video Freedom. It's run by Aaron. And he had on a lawyer, a solicitor, well-versed in Thai law. That's his job, he should be. So he did an interview with Aaron, Mark Webb, and I'm going to show you this interview. It's audio, it's an audio interview. Tells you all about, and I will start it from the vlogging and digital nomads. Now, if you want to see the full version, you will see it on the channel Video Freedom. I will put a link to that interview, and the interview with Mark starts at 24 minutes and 24 seconds, and you will get the full interview. But I'm going to start it because the time from the digital nomads vlogging part. There is more. It may be worth you going to have a look. My issue with it, my issue with them saying this, I don't care. And I'm not attacking anyone. I'm not. I know what I am, I'll carry on. The problem I have is the thousands of other people that may want to come here, do the same thing, are researching on YouTube about the legalities. And if they come across these people and they'll go, whoa, hold on, I don't like this. And what they are giving you 100% is misinformation. They should not give information on what they presume, whether they feel that it's correct or not. They must have the facts to be able to give you that information. They're giving you their opinion, their thoughts, and it's wrong. So please watch this through, especially if you're a vlogger, if you're a digital nomad, you work in IT, and you'd like to come to Thailand for 6 months, maybe retire and just do a bit. It's not illegal. Please listen to Mark Webb now. He is a lawyer, solicitor, versed in Thai law. So please listen to this right through.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The first time on my show. Wonderful. Welcome, Mark. Thank you so much for your patience with me this evening.
No problem, Aaron. It's good to be here.
Oh, it's very wonderful to have you. It's always a pleasure hearing you. You're a very smart guy. And let's just get right into it. Contacted by Kevin, and he was very interested to hear. He gave me an email version of what he thinks going on and everything with this whole working in Thailand with the AdSense of the videos, and all of this stuff. And I said, well, we had this guy come on, and he gave a version of things, and he says, oh, really? What did he have to say? I'm interested to know. And then I sort of, just a couple line synopsis of it, and he found that very interesting. So Kev-In-Thailand is interested in what you have to say, no doubt. Can you please go over it again just on my show? What's the story with this is? AdSense YouTube videos while in the kingdom. And more pragmatically, has anybody actually been busted for this over there, even in Phuket?
Okay, here's where, first of all, this is the only law that governs it. It's called the Working of Alien Act from 2008. In the definitions section, and this is section 5, work. Work means engaging in work by exerting energy or using knowledge, whether or not in consideration of wages or other benefits. Then it goes on to say that in order to do work, you must have a work permit if you are a foreigner. So with this very broad definition of work, basically anybody who enters the Kingdom of Thailand would have to have a work permit to even breathe, because that's exertion of effort or energy. So it's a very broad definition, and in the past, and this is going back 10 years ago, it was used to allow labor officials to go into factories and do inspections to determine if there are foreign workers who are engaged in work there and without a work permit. About 10 years ago, there was a very large chain of teaching centers called ECC, and they're still in existence. They teach Thai students usually after school, and then younger Thai children on the weekends. And they went into various branches of ECC, mostly located in other provinces, not in Bangkok. And they found most of the teachers did not have work permits. The teachers were not fined. The employer, ECC, had some serious problems. They had to pay a lot of money to get out of that situation. They're very well politically connected. And even then, they did get in trouble. Probably, and I'm guessing here, probably the raid on their teaching centers occurred because of a complaint by a competitor. And that's basically what you have to watch out for as a foreign worker. Will any Thai citizen complain because of your work type activity? Now, Twitchy, who's in Chiang Mai, he indicated one of his neighbors some time ago was raided by a police officer and labor official, and he was doing renovations within his house. Clearly not for compensation or anything, and the statute says there doesn't have to be compensation. And probably the complaining neighbor had a connection to the police, probably favors owned. The police department's heavily involved with a patronage system. And so his house was, raided, and, they threatened him with a prosecution. The penalty, maximum penalty for working without a work permit is 2 years in prison and a fine of up to 100,000 baht. So that guy, miner, ended up paying the fine, was never prosecuted and didn't obviously go to jail. And that's a typical result that happens because most likely no prosecutor would be willing to charge the foreign worker. This is done totally by the labor official and the police officer. And what they do is they put a lot of pressure on the foreigner to settle before charges are applied. In the end, most likely what would happen is if the police officer recommended charges, most likely the prosecutor wouldn't want to handle it. They're pretty lazy. They have more important things to do. And it's very likely that the foreigner would be let off because the statute really wasn't intended to reach that kind of activity. The problem is the statutes.
Really?
Yeah, the statutes.
You really think the prosecutors would let it slide, huh? That's very interesting observation.
Yeah, they're lazy. They have lots of work to do. They don't get anything out of it. Now,
So essentially, it's a shakedown by the local people. Basically, you could call their bluff, I suppose. And if you're really confident that what you said is true,
yeah,
it's a shakedown, basically.
Yeah, they will try to scare you. 2 years in prison. They take your passport. You don't have your passport once once the police charge you, they take away your passport. You can't leave the country.
Yeah, that's got to suck in a Thai prison, I would guess.
Yeah. Now, you know, they won't take you to prison for that. They will book you at the station, but that kind of a violation, until there's a decision to actually go forward with the charges, they wouldn't jail
really?
you. Yeah.
Oh, so what, they'll let you on a bond then or something? Or is it just a ROR?
Yeah, usually it's a bond. Not that expensive, like 5,000 baht.
Oh,
for
okay.
that kind of offense. So that's... Aaron, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Now let's...
If I fade out, let me just tell you, just keep talking, okay? I'll come back on later. Just pretend it's your show.
Okay, because I have other things to talk about. What's basically...
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. What's basically happened in Thailand is the economy for foreign workers has changed. And you have a lot of people coming in to be digital nomads. These are people who don't have to have a fixed location for their work. They're able to work online anywhere. And Bangkok is the #1 city in the world for digital nomads. Chiang Mai usually ranks #3. And
wow.
Digital nomads include lots of people: online teachers, vloggers, people engaged in selling products. I'll explain that a little. And also people who do SEO, website design, computer programmers. Anybody who's working like kind of freelance is encompassed by that digital nomad label. So what you have here is a very, very old statute defining work very specifically, requiring work permits, and literally there are estimated to be 2 to 3 million people working in Thailand during the year as digital nomads.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's very popular because obviously everybody wants to be in Thailand. There's good enough internet connectivity in order to do it. Some of these people are only part-timers. They'll spend 5 or 6 months of the year in Thailand, some months in Bali. That's another popular place to do it from. Especially in Chiang Mai right now is burning season. Burning season is where they burn the rice fields, causes a lot of smog in Chiang Mai. Most of the digital nomads leave Chiang Mai this time of year. Okay,
Wow.
that brings us to what's currently going on. There were 2 labor raids in Chiang Mai that occurred in the last 2 years. The first one occurred at a co-working space called Pun Space, still in existence. Co-working spaces are very popular in Chiang Mai. It's a place for digital nomads to get coffee, get on their laptops, have good internet connectivity, get to network with other creatives to do their work. Pun Space got raided because they saw a lot of foreigners accumulated in one area. And there was a complaint that they thought they were operating what is called a boiler room. A boiler room is a call center that specializes in selling fraudulent securities, often to the UK and US.
Oh.
And there have been quite a few of these operations in Thailand. But the guys at Pun Space weren't working for anybody. They were all digital nomads. Labor came in, raided them, took their laptops, asked them for their passports. I believe a few of them couldn't produce passports. Yeah, and then so they went down. The ones who couldn't were taken down to the station, and they have to have their passport brought to them in order to get released. No police charges were ever brought against the digital nomads working in Pun Space that day.
Huh.
The operator was not charged. It's a very popular co-working space still. One of the results of that is that the Labor Department realized that, and again, this is Chiang Mai, not Bangkok, realized that the archaic Alien Work Act doesn't really apply to the current economy of people working digitally. And therefore, it's unlikely that they could ever prosecute somebody for working online, except for certain circumstances where they are competing with a Thai person. So if you're selling products that are created in Thailand and shipping them out, and you're advertising on Facebook, you got some problems. But if you're just doing vlogging, if you're just doing digital nomad work, programming, website design, or doing the what's called drop shipment, and that's become very common. Those are all basically fairly secure. You're not going to get in trouble for doing those unless you compete with a Thai person or you upset some Thai person where he has connections and he's going to make a complaint. So that was the Pun Space raid.
Okay, there was another one you meant.
There was another raid. This occurred also in Chiang Mai. I believe it was at the Riverside Hotel. This involved online teaching. And there were, somebody had set up in the Riverside Hotel, basically converted a large room or conference room into a space for online teachers to work. And they were teaching students in China.
Oh.
There was a complaint made. Somebody said this was a spying operation for China.
Uh-huh.
And they got raided. Very similar to the Pun Space raid, took the laptops. Everybody had to produce passports, and a couple of people couldn't. One person was on overstay. So the ones who couldn't produce and the overstay guy taken down to the station, all were released except for the overstay guy, and he got in trouble, obviously, with immigration. The company that had rented the hotel space and converted it was prosecuted. Not for anything to do with the foreigners working there, but for illegally converting and using the space, not registering his business.
Oh, I see. How severe is that sort of a prosecution?
It's pretty technical. It's minor. He probably was able to negotiate his way out of those charges.
So specifically, though, no one has been charged, to your knowledge, of using AdSense on their YouTube fucking videos.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No vloggers and AdSense that's a red herring. The statute doesn't care whether they are compensated or not. Doesn't matter that you're working.
I mean, that is such a stretch. I have to say, listen, if you ask a Thai official if something's illegal or something, and you're a foreigner, you're probably going to say yes no matter what you say. So, I mean, on the safe side, So I think that's probably what happened in the Phuket instance Twitchy was citing.
Yeah.
But, let me ask you something, Mark. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the Phuket immigration officials that said that Phuket's known for the immigration officials are known for speaking out and then immediately withdrawing what they said. They also said that you need a work permit to collect rent as a foreigner. And that was shot down the very next day.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that seems like more of a real issue with foreigners renting out their condos or something. That would be something they probably want to get their hands on. But as far as the AdSense, that's so remote.
Yeah, the only reason the rent thing was an issue is because there's a tax on rent income.
For foreigners? Or everybody?
For everybody. 1.5%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's nominal. Let me ask you, is there any legislation, though, being talked about to revise the Alien Worker Act or whatever to encompass the changed economy and somehow seek to regulate or restrict the digital nomad types?
Not specifically that issue, but there's an area near Chiang Mai it's on the border with Myanmar called Mai Sot, and that area is being developed because of the ASEAN integration, and they're talking about loosening up the work permit requirements, but that wouldn't apply to digital nomads.
Oh. And is that a regional loosening up or a countrywide?
That would be countrywide, but there's certain regulations that they enact for that specific locality.
I think they're probably, under the new king, trying to get real and recognizing having those top talented people in your country is not necessarily a bad thing. To rub off on the Thais themselves if they're in one of those sorts of punt spaces with, and they could get along with white guys or whatever the case might be, Indians or whatever, and they might learn a thing or two. And so it's good not to wall yourself off, burgeoning internet economies. So, I mean, I think they're going to probably change and get smart with it, don't you think?
There's a movement towards that under the junta, the current ruling party. Yeah, but the thing is that it's so slow. They have so many other things on their plate. They do understand that it's important for the Thai economy to grow, that they do need foreign managers and this more economic relations through the internet. But they're real slow in doing anything. We're not going to see anything for, at least 3 or 4 years.
Oh, wow. I see. Well, and that's one thing that the Thais don't have an advantage over on the flips is this English proficiency. And so that's just what it is. That's just a statement of fact. And I've taught English there before back in the old days. I didn't make any money at it. It was just an exercise in futility, but I've done it. I understand they're pretty lenient. I had no work permit. I just showed up and I started teaching. Was never an issue. And I was a little bit paranoid about it because I thought maybe one of my girlfriends or something could bust me if they got pissed off at me. And, they get pissed off at you. But I never got betrayed like that. So, is it like that?
It's even worse. Okay, a lot of the teachers don't have work permits. The reason is they've enacted all these bureaucratic hoops that you have to go through in order to get a work permit for teaching. One of them is to get your degrees certified from your home country and send it to the Ministry of Education to be approved. And they've just made it worse. It's a mess. And if you're going to teach long term, there are schools where you can get a work permit.
Yeah, you go with the school. They'll work out the details for you or something then?
Correct.
That's probably the best way to play it. Well, all right, Mark, let's just change the subject. If you want, what can you share us? I mean, do you have an office in Bangkok or something, or Pattaya, where foreigners can come in and talk to you? Maybe you have an hourly rate or something. What can you tell us about?
Yeah, I'm engaged by a company. I can't do that.
Oh, okay. Well, we're lucky to have you here on our show and anybody else's show to answer questions and give us some insights and stuff. It's really nice.
It'd be great to come back again. I'm going to need to go. I have an interview waiting for me again.
Well, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. We've had Mark Webb here up on the broadcast. Mark, is there anything else you'd like to say in closing to our listeners?
No, other than I totally support what you say, and Thailand is definitely a better place for relocation as opposed to the Philippines.
Yeah, but really, the visa situation, it's not expensive. Apparently, Kev-In-Thailand said he spends 1,900 baht for his 1 year. Plus other costs, like the copies of passports and bank statements and all of this sort of thing. But it's under $100 to get his 1 year renewed. But having that 25,000 US in the bank at all times, I don't know if that's with interest or not.
Yeah, I can go through that with you next time. He's on a retirement visa.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So you have to be 50 years old to do that. But yeah, I can explain that. And there's ways around it. Guys like Bangkok 112 are on basically permanent tourist visas. They keep getting a new one. Yeah.
Okay, so we can have maybe on the next show we could talk visas then?
Sure. That'd be great.
That would be awesome. Okay, Mark. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Aaron. Bye-bye.
Okay. That is from a lawyer. A lawyer on Thai law. He works in Thai law. So, please, let's stop this now screaming about legalities, about you're illegal, you're going to prison, I will have you chucked out of Thailand. No, you fucking ain't. No, you're not. It's not illegal. And that is a lawyer from his mouth, not mine. No rants, no screams, no attacking anyone. This is information people need to know, and they can take it from a lawyer, a solicitor that knows the law. Anyway, that's all I've got. I think that's very good. If you're a vlogger, if you're a digital nomad, looking to do a bit, come in here, come and enjoy. Do not change your life what you think because of other people is the truth. This now you have had from a solicitor lawyer. Okay, hopefully I've helped people and give them the facts of working in Thailand as a digital nomad, as a vlogger. Anyway, thank you for watching. I really do hope this has helped you, and we'll see you soon. Yeah, why not thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. We'll be getting out and about now more around Pattaya. I've had a few issues that I've had to bring out, which has been sitting around in home. We're back out and about now. See you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.